This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. He was shot and killed while protecting lives in Fishers. Now Canine Harley will be laid to rest. Your chance today to honor and remember his sacrifice.
We're waking up to areas of fog this morning across central Indiana. We'll let you know when the fog is going to lift and when the sunshine is set to return.
They came, they marched, and they rallied. This morning, we're looking at what's next after thousands of teachers turned out for the Red for Ed movement.
Plus, we're taking out the trash, quite literally. Hiring Hoosiers is exploring how a career in waste management could have you seeing green.
And you're a few clicks away from having your holiday shopping done. This morning, why promises of free shipping could have you shelling out more than you expected.
And it is Wednesday, November 20th. We want to welcome you in here midweek to Good Morning Indiana.
It is great to be back with my morning family, but coming into work this morning, a little foggy in Johnson County, so I was like, hey, how do I get to work?
But not so foggy up in Hamilton County for my drive, however. So, Todd, who is seeing the most fog this morning?
All right, you want to be the winner or the loser here this morning, right? It's a no-win situation for anybody when you're dealing with fog this morning, but that is the hand that we are dealt with this morning. But as the ladies and Raphael mentioned, it's very patchy. If you're on the south side, you probably were dealing with fog this morning. If you're in northern locations, the fog is not as thick. So we'll focus on where the fog is the most dense, and this has been changing all morning long. Shelbyville just went from about 1/10 of a mile visibility up to 2.3. So 2.3 is not all that bad. However, the fog is a little thicker as you continue down I-74 towards the Greensburg area. You notice from Indianapolis to the north, 2 to 3 mile visibilities. That's not much of an issue. Temperatures are above freezing. That is good because there's a lot of moisture out there. You do not have to worry about any ice currently across the area with 40 in Bloomington, 41 in Greenfield. The problem today is there's nothing really to mix this fog out this morning. So we just have to wait for the sun to come up, and then we have to be patient for the sun to burn the fog off and then eventually the cloud cover off. So we are expecting some sunshine in the forecast this afternoon, but at least this morning we're going to be locked in with the clouds. So it's a mostly cloudy start with temperatures that'll hover in the 40s through at least the noon hour.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We are keeping a close eye on your roads as you're getting ready to head to work or school this morning. Here's a live look up to the northeast, I-69 at 82nd Street here, Castleton. Good morning to you. Traffic's moving along smoothly, both northbound and southbound along the interstate. No crashes or issues to slow you down. So let's plan out your drive. Take a look here at our traffic now map, taking you over to the west side at this hour. Eastbound I-74, you can expect a 7-minute drive from State Road 267 through the Brownsburg area to the I-465 ramps on the west side. No delays. Of course, we'll continue to keep a close eye on things, and we'll keep you updated if you need to reroute.
Well, Lauren, thank you so much. The time now is 6:03. A somber moment in Hamilton County. Tonight, a memorial service will honor the Fishers police canine shot and killed last week.
Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning from Fishers with the details on the service. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. So that service for Harley starts tonight at 6 p.m. at the Fishers High School. And we told you first last week about Harley's death here on Good Morning Indiana. According to police, a suspect shot and killed Harley during a manhunt. The suspect was arrested and has been charged with Harley's death. Police Chief Ed Gebhardt says Harley saved the lives of several officers that night. And Fishers police are expecting a large crowd tonight at the service. And to maintain the crowds, they're asking the public to park in specific lots. So they're asking the public to park in the south parking lot off of Promise Road, and they're asking law enforcement to park in the east lot. Now the doors will open to Fishers High School tonight at 5 p.m. and the service will begin at 8, and they are asking everyone to wear blue for Harley. Now after the service, Fishers police officers, their families, and retirees will have a procession from the high school here to the police department. And again, if you cannot come to the service tonight, we will be streaming it for you on the IndyChannel.com, the RTV6 News app, and over on our Facebook page. Reporting live in Fishers, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Time now 6:04. Today, thousands of teachers are back in the classroom after taking a stand at the State House. Many of the educators we spoke to at the Red for Ed rally on Tuesday say they're advocating for changes, and they are hopeful for what will come next. Our own Alyssa Donovan is joining us live in studio this morning. And Alyssa, after the rally, we caught up with a number of teachers. What did they have to say?
That's right, Lauren. The teachers we spoke with say it's frustrating that it needed to come to this, but they feel that rally will make a difference when it comes to policy change. And if it doesn't, they say they're prepared to take more action. And it was hard to miss downtown as thousands of teachers gathered at the State House in red. The rally, a time to take a stand for what the educators say they need. Teachers want a salary increase, a lesser focus on standardized testing, and removal of a 15-hour externship requirement to renew their license. They are hoping the next legislative session takes in action their expertise and perspective as educators.
If you don't know how to create good educational policy, ask the people that do. Come to the teachers, ask the educators to help you do it, because we will more than happily help you craft positive, effective educational policy.
And the teachers our team spoke to throughout the day highlighted all of these different issues they were here to fight for. But the underlying message, more funding for public education so that the children of Indiana can have a future they deserve. And the chairman of both the House and Senate Education Committees say state lawmakers and local districts need to do their part. Last legislative session, lawmakers allocated a historic $763 million to school districts. But funding and compensation changes will be difficult this session because this is not a budget year.
Alyssa, thank you so much. A story that will continue to follow. A Central Indiana Special Education Director is accused of being insensitive. Mark Booth is the Special Education Director for Noblesville Schools. Sometime over the past 2 weeks, he shared a meme on his personal Facebook page, which caused some outrage in that community. It was a photo of President Trump and a caption that refers to him as special needs. RTV6 is not sharing that image. Booth did release a statement to parents and kids in the special needs program. That statement saying in part, "I'm embarrassed by this lapse in judgment, as this meme does not reflect my heart and life mission of respectfully and compassionately serving students with special needs." The superintendent there in Noblesville also released a statement saying that there will be formal disciplinary action. You can read both statements by going right now to the RTV6 app and clicking on this story.
A robbery spree on the northwest side of Indianapolis may be over. Police arrested 2 people in connection to 4 robberies over a span of 10 days. 2 happened on Lafayette Road, 1 on Georgetown Road, and 1 on Michigan Road. The suspects are described as juveniles, but police have not released exact ages. Police are also asking for help identifying a masked robber who pointed a gun in a convenience store clerk's face. These surveillance images are from the attempted robbery at the Quick Stop on Markland Avenue in Kokomo just before 3 o'clock Tuesday morning. Investigators say the suspect fired 1 shot at the clerk before running away. The clerk was not hurt. If you have information on the person behind this crime, please call Kokomo Police.
At 6:07, a growing battle over this land on the west side of Indianapolis is now heading to a courtroom. On Tuesday, Ambrose Property Group filed a lawsuit against the city. Back in September, the developer announced plans to sell the former GM stamping plant after backing out of a redevelopment project on the site. Shortly after that, the city said it would use eminent domain to take control of that land, which Ambrose sharply criticized. The deputy chief of staff for the city released a statement saying, in part, quote, "The decision by Ambrose to pursue litigation is the latest in a series of disappointing steps away from the negotiating table. While we're prepared to correct the facts surrounding this matter and defend the city's rights under the law, our main goal continues to be pursuing an outcome that's best for the interests of the near West Side residents," end quote.
There's something to check out. Indianapolis now home to the first living monument in the country. This is a pretty cool thing to see. Veterans can now become part of the monument by standing on top of it. The 4,000-pound piece of Indiana limestone is on Monument Circle. Servicemen and women are encouraged to stand proud, take pictures, and then share their pictures with everyone around the world.
It reminds me of the Visit Indy, NDY, you see in the airport. A couple other places around town I've seen it, where people stand next to it, take a picture.
So there is a one-year agreement to keep the attraction on the circle, but that partnership can be extended.
Hiring Hoosiers is hitting the garbage route. Coming up at 6:14, how you could earn some serious cash if you don't mind taking out the trash. Todd.
And as you take to the roadways here this morning, we're dealing with patchy fog across parts of central Indiana. We do not have a dense fog advisory, but the visibility is reduced in some areas. There's also a little bit of patchy drizzle, but the good news, temperatures are in the 40s. The better news, some sunshine maybe later this afternoon. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:09.
It is 6:12 on your Wednesday, November 20th. Here's a live look at your commute over on the northwest side. I-65 here near 38th Street, and you can see by all the headlights out there, traffic is really picking up on that side of town at this hour, but it's traveling up to speed. That is the good news this morning.
Our Hiring Hoosiers project not only points you to who is hiring, it also works to break down the stigmas associated with some careers.
Yeah, and this week that's our aim as we explore what many of you may call dirty jobs.
And this morning, RTV6's Mark Mullins shows you what it takes to rid the rubbish from your neighborhoods and the changes to that industry in the past 20 years.
Many consider it a dirty job, but Leon Baker is doing it anyway.
It has its good days and bad days, but most of the time I love it.
He's a sanitation truck operator and driver for Waste Management.
And you can make really good money, provide for your family doing this.
He's been hauling away trash around here for 15 years. He remembers those days of yesteryear when garbage workers braved the conditions and put a strain on their bodies.
In the past, when you think about waste removal or what we do, you think a lot of labor, a lot of handling trash, throwing trash, being sore.
What's changed in the last 15 to 20 years is the technology on these type of trucks, making them easier to operate, making this position more attractive to applicants.
They think of the guy on the back throwing trash, and they don't think about the technology where the truck does most of the work now. So once they come aboard and they see that, you know, most of our candidates are pretty happy with how the industry is turning overall.
From his cab, Leon can collect trash and cover a larger neighborhood alone in a fraction of the time. The buttons and joystick operate this extending arm to collect trash bins. No more spending time in harsh elements. No more heavy lifting. No more bringing home a foul stench. Leon says you need to be comfortable behind the wheel to love this gig in the rig. But he admits the dirtiest part of the job comes from Mother Nature.
You might, be in for an 8-hour day, but if it snows 3 inches, it might turn into a 12-hour day. To me, that's always been the worst part.
And the best part?
It's really good pay, good benefits, a good work environment. Good people work here.
Working for you on Indianapolis's North Side, Mark Mullins, RTV6.
Mark, thank you so much. Waste Management says you'll need a CDL Class B license to operate one of their trucks. The company has a training center to help new hires get specialized licensing, starting pay between $20 to $30 an hour. Waste Management is hiring, and we also checked with other larger sanitation companies in the region. You can find those job postings and their links in this story. It's all waiting for you right now at our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
Indiana's unemployment rate continues once again to stand below the national average. The new report for the month of October shows it at 3.2%, unchanged from September. It's lower than a year ago at this time and lower than the national average of 3.6%. Indiana's number is also the lowest among our neighboring states of Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky, and Michigan.
Here at 6:15, we got to talk about the forecast today as we head out the door for our Wednesday. Todd, Meredith coming in from Carmel, she was totally fine on the roads. Raphael and I were just saying we were like this on our steering wheel. We cannot see barely in front of us. So this is due to the patchy fog that's around the area.
Yeah, and it's shifting around too. Where the fog was worse earlier this morning, it's not as bad right now. So that's why you have to take extra caution here on the roadways. Visibilities have actually started to improve a little bit everywhere. Earlier this morning, Shelbyville was down to just a 1/10 of a mile visibility. The lowest visibility we have, and I know there's not a number coming from here, but you notice this light lighter shade of gray here. So as you work your way on I-74 through Decatur County, Greensburg area, that's where the visibility is the lowest all across central Indiana. It's reduced a little bit here in northern locations, but unless you're under a mile, it's not going to create too many issues on the roadways. And here is the view from IMS back towards downtown Indianapolis, so you can see outside of the track and beyond a little bit there on the west side of town, although you can only barely see the buildings here off in the distance. So again, there is some visibility issues this morning across the area with a temperature of 41 degrees, and there's kind of a damp feeling out there, and maybe you see a little bit of patchy drizzle in spots, but it won't be anything more than that. What we need is this wind to kick up a little bit. That would help to disperse the fog, but I don't really think that's going to happen this morning. So we're going to deal with these visibility issues throughout the morning. What we'll wait on is the sun to come up, and that will eventually start to burn off some of this fog, but we're going to have to be very, very patient throughout the morning hours. 30s and 40s this morning, so temperature-wise, we're not that bad. We're all above freezing, so this is not freezing fog. You don't have to worry about slick spots on the roadways, so that is good news. And temperatures today will actually get a little bit closer to normal, upper 40s. Some of you, I think, especially if we get into the sunshine, we'll hit that 50-degree mark later on this afternoon. So the clouds are in place. The clearing line trying to approach Terre Haute here, and that will continue from west to east across the area gradually throughout the morning hours. So for many of you, you have to wait until this afternoon for the clouds to break apart, and you can see that on TrueCast 10 a.m. Still lots of clouds around. By 2 o'clock, these clouds are breaking apart. By the time we get to 5 o'clock, sky should be partly cloudy. So I do think our highs today will be late in the day. Once we get into that sunshine this evening, temperatures will be in the 40s. It's a dry evening for us with partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then for the day tomorrow, we bring rain back into the forecast, as we'll see temperatures get up to about 58 degrees. That rain will start to develop across the area throughout the morning. I think the morning commute should be okay, and then we'll deal with these scattered showers off and on throughout the course of the day tomorrow. It's not a washout for your Thursday, but it's going to be one of those days where you want to have the rain gear handy, because you will need it off and on throughout the day. Cooler for the weekend, including maybe a little bit of a rain-snow mixture on Saturday morning. Your Saturday high is 43 degrees, and then eventually back up into the 50s as we work our way into next week. Lauren?
All right, Todd, you mentioned the fog. I want to take you down to Franklin right now. This is I-65 and State Road 44 at the exit there, and you can see the reduced visibility on the roads. And then as you travel northbound here on I-65, we saw a camera off the screen earlier of Greenwood, and everything was clear. So you just don't know what you're going to run into, so use caution no matter where you are this morning, because conditions can change, as Todd was telling us. Let's take a look at some drive times as you're heading out there down on the south side. As you're traveling northbound on State Road 37, starting it here in Bargersville, State Road 144, hopping there on the northbound lanes, going up to the Harding Street exit at I-465. It's a 13-minute drive, so everything there is traveling up to speed.
The top now is 619, and pressure is mounting to ban e-cigarettes as 4 more lawsuits have been filed against Juul this week alone. Each one accuses the e-cigarette maker of the same thing: targeting minors. One comes from the state of California, 2 from counties in Washington state, and another from a school district from that state. 1 in 4 high school students, we're told, may use vaping products. A Juul spokesman says that the company has not reviewed the lawsuits just yet. On Tuesday, the American Medical Association called to prohibit the sale of all electronic cigarettes.
More than 2 years after the Las Vegas concert shooting, the death toll from that attack is rising. 57-year-old Kimberly Gervais was hit in the back when a gunman opened fire from his hotel room. She's been in a nursing facility in California ever since. Her family says Gervais suffered pain every day from the metal fragments of the exploding bullets used in the shooting. Gervais is the 59th death tied to the shooting. A medical examiner will perform an autopsy to find the exact cause of death.
At 6:20, a deadly crash out in Arizona last year pressed pause on self-driving cars. Now investigators are saying a distracted human as the backup driver was the main cause behind that crash. The NTSB says that the woman was watching a show on her phone when the self-driving Uber hit and killed a bicyclist. However, the board also says the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration should better regulate tests on public roads. The board also said Uber should have had better guidelines in place. The NTSB says all companies testing autonomous cars need to study the crash to prevent future incidents.
So you can't live without it. Your keyboard, millions of Americans will take to their keyboards to have holiday gifts delivered right to their door. Coming up at 6:26, right here on Good Morning Indiana, we're taking a look at why they promised free shipping may not be so free after all. Beware, shoppers.
In Raphael, here's a live look right now at traffic over on the west side of town. Our INDOT traffic camera at I-465 and West 21st Street, where traffic is moving along up to speed this morning. No crashes to report around the metro area, and that is great news. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Let's get obsessed.
The time now is 6:24 and trending on 6. The Philadelphia Eagles are offering up their stadium for a high school football game that was interrupted, unfortunately, by gunfire. The two New Jersey high school teams were in the middle of a playoff game when 3 people were shot and injured. Today, the teams will finish the remaining 17 minutes of that game at Lincoln Financial Field.
Frozen and Frozen 2 stars Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel now have stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The two actresses play Elsa and Anna in the movies. Frozen 2 hits theaters on Friday, 6 years to the day that the original movie premiered.
And Arizona's family's dream come true quickly turned to heartbreak, but then something magical. The Polar Express is Ty Swarthout's favorite book and movie, so his parents were thrilled to take him for a ride on the train. But he has autism, and so he got so excited, but then overwhelmed, and then he had a meltdown. Well, in a Facebook post, Ty's mom says that her heart ached for her son. And then the train conductor made a personal visit to Ty, even gave Ty a pocket watch. The railroad company wants the family to come back so that Ty can experience his dream. I love that story.
That is a great
awesome.
story.
Yeah, just taking a little bit of extra time to make someone's day. So.
And in the movie, Tom Hanks plays the conductor.
Yeah.
So it's always, every time I see Tom Hanks, I want to go to the train and go, where's Tom Hanks? Where's he at? And of course, now he's playing Mr. Rogers.
Now you're going to be saying, hello, neighbors.
Well, the good news is, Todd, that no need for the Polar Express with today's weather.
Yeah, no, temperatures are above freezing this morning. That is good because we have some fog out there and moisture. You will not see slick spots on the roadways in the form of ice, so that is good news. Visibility's obviously reduced all across central Indiana, but there's no dense fog advisory out there, so that is good news as well. But just use some caution on the roadways as you normally would with some fog around. Temperatures will be in the 40s here this morning, about 45 degrees by the noon hour, and then eventually this afternoon we do get into some sunshine across the area. Once we see that sunshine, highs will approach 50 degrees from Indianapolis to the south.
Todd, thank you so much. A new study by Lean Plum shows that 95% of Americans plan to do most of their holiday shopping online this year. One of the main reasons, is this you?
Yep.
Free shipping.
Working for you, our John Matarese found a catch with some of those offers so you don't waste your money.
When we're ordering our holiday gifts, one of the things most of us now look for is free shipping. It's almost standard if you were an Amazon Prime member. But sometimes, if you choose free shipping, you could end up paying more. Walmart, Target, Amazon, and more. Almost all major retailers are offering free shipping this 2019 holiday season. Why? Because it gets us to buy more. According to NerdWallet.com, Target may have the best deal this season. There's no minimum purchase required to qualify for free until December 21st. Amazon Prime also has no minimum for Prime members, but Prime costs $119 a year, so make sure you order enough to make it worthwhile. Walmart still requires a $35 purchase for fast free shipping. But from the Doesn't That Stink file, higher prices on some free shipping items, which leaves you paying more. NerdWallet found a pair of Nike running shoes on one site with free shipping for $65, but it found the same shoes for just $49 at JCPenney if you paid an $8.95 shipping fee. In the end, the free shipping deal would have cost you $8 more and had you saying, "Doesn't that stink?" So take your time comparing prices. On some sites, free shipping may have been added into the price of the product. So when comparing deals, don't ignore one just because the words free shipping don't pop up. That may be the better deals. You don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
Some good advice. Thank you, John. For more cost-saving tips and ideas, visit the money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
Here at 6:28, after months of investigating, doctors in Scotland have finally figured out what caused a man to get seriously ill. And you could have this culprit in your home as well. Listen to this story. So Martin Taylor suddenly started getting dizzy and and he was having trouble breathing. His condition got worse for months until a doctor asked what kind of bedding he was using. So it turns out he had just bought a new down duvet and pillows right before he got sick. Doctors say Taylor was suffering from feather duvet lung disease. Never heard of that before. It's basically an allergy to birds.
Oh.
After a few months of steroid treatment and new bedding, of course, Taylor is nearly back to his old self.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday morning, it's your 6:30 a.m. news feed. Metro Police say a shooting that happened on South Talbot Street started as a prearranged fight between two groups of adults. Officers say the fight was not supposed to involve guns, but someone brought one and opened fire. 3 people taken to the hospital, all expected to survive their injuries.
A man who claimed he was acting in self-defense when he fired 16 shots outside a Northwest Indiana Walmart last year has been acquitted of the most serious charges against him. Alex Hughes was convicted of criminal recklessness but found not guilty of attempted murder. Police say Hughes fired shots at rival gang members who had opened fire on him outside a Walmart in Hobart.
Vice President Mike Pence will be here in Indianapolis today. He's scheduled to speak at the Strata Education Network National Symposium. The nonprofit corporation helps students transition into college, trade schools, or other post-high school educational opportunities. The organization's headquarters is based right here in Indianapolis.
And Post Malone bringing his extended runaway tour to Indianapolis early next year. The second leg of that tour will stop at Bankers Life Fieldhouse on February the 9th. The tour will feature special guests Sway Lee and Tyler Yahweh. Tickets go on sale to the general public this Friday at 9 a.m. Good luck on getting those tickets.
It is Wednesday, November the 20th. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana.
Good morning, and watch out for some fog, especially in Johnson County, but not on the north side.
Sorry, we're just lucky sometimes up there. And Todd, the good news is once that fog clears out, we're in store for a fairly nice day today.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be back to seasonable levels, which I haven't been able to talk about in a while here. You have to go back to Sunday of last week when we had temperatures that were at or above normal. But this morning, it is fog that is the issue for us. Now, I will point out that the temperatures range this morning from 37 to 42 degrees, and that's key because it's not freezing fog. We don't have to worry about any moisture that's on the roadways freezing and creating slick spots, but nonetheless, it's the visibilities that are an issue. They're not terrible, and we do not have a dense fog advisory this morning, but the worst of the fog, as Raphael mentioned, is south of the city, especially as you get into Decatur County and over towards the Greensburg area, so be aware of that. As far as the clouds go, even once we get rid of the fog, which is just a cloud on the ground, we still have clouds higher up in the sky, and those are going to move out gradually here throughout the day. So you have to be patient. Not much sunshine here throughout the morning hours with temperatures that'll climb through the low 40s. But once we get to this afternoon, I am expecting sunshine. Once you see that, that's when the temperatures will take a nice jump forward. We'll talk more about that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
And Todd, we're talking about the fog, and we want to show you it from our INDOT traffic camera. This is down in Johnson County at I-65 and State Road 44. A good view of what you can see out there. But the good news is you can see, looking at this camera, traffic's still traveling up to speed. Just remember to use those low beams as you're heading out there and use caution.
Band directors and other music teachers helping to rally the thousands descending on the state capitol. They say they will not take state lawmakers ignoring their needs for funding. Today it is back to class for teachers after thousands took Tuesday off to lobby for public education at the State House.
It was quite a sight, as you can see from Skycam 6. Educators from every corner of our state traveled hours to be part of that Red for Ed event right here in Indianapolis. But the question this morning is, what happens next? What happens now? Our Alyssa Donovan is here this morning. Alyssa, we talked to teachers throughout that rally. They're hopeful. What are they telling you?
That's right, Raphael. They say the turnout yesterday just shows how much camaraderie they have for their cause. Many of the teachers I talked to tell me it was unfortunate it came to this point where a rally was necessary. They feel the event will make a difference, though. However, if there is not change, they are willing to take further action. Thousands and thousands of teachers surrounded the State House on Tuesday, chanting and hoping to catch the eye of lawmakers. Educators say the demonstration was years in the making and it was finally time to take a stand. The main issues that ignited the rally included a need for improved pay, a review of standardized testing practices in Indiana schools, and a change in the requirements of renewing a teaching license in the state. Teachers say they hope the next legislative session takes into account their perspective. Otherwise, they will take matters into their own hands.
We're not happy with the way things are going, and if things don't continue to get better, then there's an election in November.
The teachers our team spoke to throughout the day highlighted all of these different issues they were here to fight for, but the underlying message, more funding for public education so that the children of Indiana can have a future they deserve. And we did have a chance to speak with some legislators at the rally yesterday. The chairman of both the House and Senate Education Committees say state lawmakers and local districts need to do their part. Last legislative session, lawmakers allocated a historic $763 million to school districts. But funding and compensation changes will be difficult this session because this is not a budget year.
And Alyssa, your students are heading back to class today after dozens of school districts were closed or offering e-learning days so that their teachers could take part in that rally on Tuesday. But about half of the state school districts remained open. Northwest Hendricks School was one of those districts. Some teachers did make the trip out to the State House, but at Pittsboro Elementary School, teachers and students in the classroom were still showing their Red for Ed support.
We just made the decision that we thought it was too short notice when we started talking about canceling, so we decided that we would show our support, but still being here with the kids.
We have teachers and students that are wearing red. We have some teachers that even made their own shirts for today. We're here supporting education and the needs of our students. We are here for learning, and we want to support our teachers who are promoting learning every day at our school.
In all, at least 146 school districts and corporations canceled classes or offered those e-learning days.
In the midst of all the Red for Ed activity, House Speaker Brian Bosma announced that the upcoming session will be his last. He says he's retiring after what will be his 34th legislative session. Bosma was first elected in 1986 and served 2 stints as Speaker, most recently since 2010. As for what's next, he will be the national chairman of the Republican Legislative Campaign Committee, which is an organization that helps elect Republicans across the country. When asked about his time in office, Bosma said it won't be a specific vote or issue he'll remember the most, but rather the people he worked with at the State House.
This is a remarkable place where we get along. We may disagree. We may disagree very much so, very strongly, but we cast a vote, we move on to the next item.
House Republicans will choose a new speaker-elect after next year's session. That person will take over the role in 2021.
At 6:36, more than a dog. Harley is being honored for his service to the city of Fishers. The canine was killed in the line of duty. Our RTV6's Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning from Hamilton County with how the canine officer is being remembered today. Kelsey?
Raphael, there's going to be a service today at 6 o'clock at the Fishers High School. And we first told you last week on Good Morning Indiana about Harley's death. Now, police say a suspect shot and killed Harley during a manhunt. That suspect was arrested and has been charged with Harley's death. Police Chief Ed Gebhardt says Harley saved the lives of several officers that night. Fishers police are expecting a very large crowd tonight at the service. And to maintain those crowds, they're asking the public to park in specific lots. They're asking the public to park in the south parking lot off of Promise Road, and law enforcement is asked to park in the east lot. The doors will open to Fishers High School tonight at 5 p.m. and the service will begin at 6. They are asking that everyone wears blue for Harley. Now, after the service, Fishers police officers, retirees, and their families will have a procession from the high school back here to the police department. And again, if you cannot make it to that service tonight and you want to show your support, we'll be streaming it live for you on the IndyChannel.com, the RTV6 News app, and over on our Facebook page. Reporting live in Fishers, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. They will light up an area to honor the Delphi daughters. Next, we'll show you a major step in the progress being made here on Memorial Park.
And you can buy Jack's Donuts to help out another Jack. Coming up more on the Plainfield fundraiser for a special boy with a big battle on his hands. It's 6:38. We'll be right back.
only on select models.
At 6:41, it's another big step forward in the building of the Abby and Libby Memorial Park in Delphi, there in Carroll County. The Purdue Research Foundation donated 10 outdoor light poles and fixtures to illuminate the playground and those softball fields now under construction. The park is named for 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams. The girls, as you may recall, were killed back in February 2017 while they were hiking. Their deaths remain unsolved. The poles came from Purdue's former intramural fields and will be painted before the installation.
At 6:41, we're getting a first look at what Broad Ripple Park could look like in the future.
Last night, the Parks Department held an open house giving neighbors a look at design concepts. People who live in the area also got to share their feedback. Last year, Indy Parks unveiled a master plan for future changes to Broad Ripple Park that will develop over the next 20 years.
Over the course of 2018, the community came together and created a vision for the future of their park here in Broad Ripple. And tonight we are talking about the potential future public-private partnership to build a family center with Community Health Network.
Well, the new facility will feature larger and more versatile programming space and the opportunity for expanded class offerings. There will also be an outdoor plaza and increased green space.
Let's take you to Hendricks County now. Today, the Plainfield Police Department is continuing its support of a 12-year-old boy who's facing one of the biggest battles of his life. You may remember we told you about Jack Moon, a Plainfield student with type B non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The Plainfield PD has rallied behind Jack and his family, and today they're teaming up with Jack's Donuts of Plainfield to host a Jack Moon Strong fundraiser. 10% of every purchase made at the store today will go to Jack and his family to help with the ongoing treatment costs. The store is open until 9 o'clock this evening.
Some changes coming to the red line after a Call 6 investigation. We'll show you the work being done and how it could impact your ride.
And we have a big giveaway coming up, and you will want to let it be. This could be yours. In fact, just after the break, your chance to win tickets to see Hard Day's Night, a Beatles tribute band live in concert. Todd?
As you walk out the door this morning, you are walking out to a damp morning with patchy dense fog across the area. So you'll have to use a little bit of caution on the roadways. The good news is temperatures this morning are in the 40s for the duration of your morning commute, and even the 50s will be possible later on this afternoon. We'll talk about the rest of today and beyond coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:43.
Dodge Jeep Ram.
The only name you need to know.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We are monitoring a little bit of a slowdown here as you're traveling westbound in from the east side. This is a little west of Mount Comfort Road on I-70. You can see some slowdowns here. We're going to take a look at what's causing this, and of course we're going to keep you updated here in just a few minutes.
So we told you about this problem several weeks ago, and this morning we're learning more about improvements Indigo will be making along the red line. A Call 6 Investigates first told you earlier this month about the problems with the medians on College Avenue. All of the medians will have to be replaced due to installation issues and people driving over them. As you can see, this is quite an issue. Starting this week, those medians will be removed and replaced with concrete. We told that this will take about 4 to 6 weeks, but all the construction will be in the bus lane, so that will not impact your traffic. We'll have to wait and see about that. And Indigo will now be installing some temporary battery boost chargers along the red line until the permanent ones are installed at the end of the line. Call 6 Investigates also learned that once the temperatures dipped below 50 degrees, the electric buses began having problems keeping a charge. And just finding out a few moments ago, received a text that yesterday 4 buses lost their charge and had to be returned to the garage because of the weather.
All right, that is a story we will continue to follow throughout the winter.
Yeah.
But speaking of fall, it's feeling a lot more fall-like, Todd. We had that little blip in the forecast there where temps were in the single digits. Thankfully, that's not what we have today.
We went from fall to winter for about a week, and now we're slowly inching back to more fall-like weather. Yeah, as you walk out the door this morning, one issue we are dealing with, though, is some patchy dense fog across the area. Visibilities have come up, though. That is the good news for us. In fact, Columbus, you have basically almost clear skies now with that 10-mile visibility. visibility. And I always tell you, whenever the visibility is below 1 mile, that's when you're starting to run into issues. And we're all above 1 mile now with the worst of visibility here in southeastern portions of Indiana. And these visibilities should start to slowly get better here throughout the course of the morning hours, but it's going to be a slow process for us. We're not going to get rid of the fog really quick this morning, but at least the visibilities have gotten a little bit better and there's no dense fog advisory out there. Temperatures this morning, 30s and 40s, so we're running a little bit warmer than we have been, and all these temperatures are above freezing, so you don't have to worry about any slick spots on the roadways like we did yesterday when we had that fog and temperatures were down in the 20s. And these temperatures will continue to moderate slowly throughout the day, but eventually we will get there with temperatures that'll be climbing all the way up into the 40s and 50s across the area. So our featured dog of the day today is Epic. Unfortunately, Epic, you're not going to need those sunglasses until later in the afternoon. So if you're heading out for a walk here this morning, it's a little on the damp side, but eventually we'll start to thin these clouds out, working our way into the afternoon hours, and temperatures will get up into the 40s. And of course, you could send your dog pictures to my Facebook page, Todd Clausen RTV6, and we'll get you on the air eventually. Just got to be patient, though. I have quite a few in the queue here lined up in the coming days and weeks. So the clouds are in place. Even once we get rid of the fog, which is the cloud on the ground, we still have clouds higher up in the sky. But you notice the clearing line is back off to our west, and that's slowly going to start to inch our way. So while I'm not expecting much in the way of sunshine this morning, once we do get into the afternoon hours, these clearer skies should start to work in, and the skies will start to brighten just a little bit. The one thing you don't have to worry about, at least for today, is any precipitation. That changes for the day tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with rain showers off and on throughout a good chunk of the day. The morning commute should be okay with just cloudy skies, but then the rain will move in by mid-morning, and then it's with us off and on throughout the afternoon hours. And this white line you see here, that's the wind speeds. You notice it becomes pretty breezy tomorrow as well, with some wind gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But since it's a southerly wind, it's going to help to bring the temperatures tomorrow in the mid-50s. And if we can get rid of the rain quick enough, none of the questions, some of you tomorrow afternoon could hit the 60-degree mark. But definitely tomorrow is a day that you need to have the umbrella handy. Behind that front, colder though for the weekend, including a rain-snow mixture potentially on Saturday morning, and then temperatures slowly moderate once we get back into next week with highs Monday and Tuesday, Lauren, that'll be up in the 50s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Want to take a look right now again to our east. This is our NDOT traffic camera at I-70, just a little bit east of Mount Comfort Road. This is near County Road 400 West. Traffic in the westbound lanes picking back up after a brief slowdown. So if you're heading into the Indianapolis area from parts like Greenfield, Knightstown, Newcastle, you shouldn't have any problems there. You can take I-70 westbound without delay.
While the Indiana Hoosiers are trying to position themselves for a good bowl game, other college football teams from Central Indiana are getting ready for the playoffs in their divisions. The Marian University Knights were unbeaten in the regular season for the second straight year, but they were upset in the first round of the NAIA playoffs last year, and they say that has been their motivation in 2019.
You can't afford to have a bad day, and you know, we've been on the wrong end of that here, you know, the last couple of years where we've had a great team rolling into the playoffs and then we just had a bad day. So, you know, I think our players are well aware of that. You know, they're preparing. Like I said, the mindset right now is a lot different than what it's been last year, especially.
Meanwhile, at UIndy, it's been a very solid first season for head coach Chris Keevers. The Greyhounds finished the regular season 9-1. They're playing in the Division II postseason for a third straight year. UIndy will make a trip to Central Missouri on Saturday. Marion is home against 13th-ranked Reinhardt University. Wabash is also in the Division III playoffs. Little Giants will play on the road this Saturday at North Central Illinois.
Stay tuned for this holiday season shopping alert. Scammers are getting really creative in trying to drain your money from your gift cards. Coming up in about 8 minutes or so right here on Good Morning America, how you can put a stop to them right here on RTV6, just 8 minutes away.
And she was denied a school picture all because of her hair. But the outrage it sparked has now turned to smiles. We'll show you how one photographer gave this little girl a time to shine in front of the camera.
And if you've been working like a dog, we've got your ticket to ride this morning. Right now is your chance to win 2 tickets to see Hard Day's Night, a Beatles tribute band live in concert. The show is set for this Saturday, November 23rd at the Brown County Music Center. That's a brand new facility in Nashville, Indiana. All you got to do is be the 6th caller, 317-269-1459. Call that number to win. Good luck to you. It is 6:52. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
It's 6:55. Here's a live look in the downtown area at your commute here at the North Split. You can see just a few brake lights out that way. On the right side of your screen, that's the westbound traffic merging here with northbound I-65 at the Meridian Street area. So just use caution. Traffic is building at this hour. So an 8-year-old Michigan girl finally getting her chance to shine in front of the camera this week.
It was a happy turn of events for Marion Scott after what happened to her last month at her charter school. You see, Marion was not allowed to take her school picture because her hair color was not natural.
It was a school rule that Marion's family says it didn't know about. At this photo shoot, Marion proudly wore her red braid extensions. Those are the same extensions that a charter school in Lansing, Michigan said were not allowed in her school picture. Jermaine Horton was one of the photographers that saw her story. He drove hours to then put on a professional photo shoot and give her a new wardrobe for free.
Confidence is a process, especially when you're rebuilding someone's confidence, especially a child, because they're so fragile. So we want to make sure that she feels not just great that day, but going forward, that it's ongoing, that she still feels that support.
Thank you, and I appreciate it, and I love the support.
Marion's father says he hopes this leads to more conversation about equity in school policies.
We do want to get a look at our forecast right now with Todd Klassen. Todd, today, fog has been a major issue. What can we expect out there?
You know, fog this morning, it's getting better, though. That is the good news. There's no dense fog advisory. And then hopefully by this afternoon, we can break these clouds apart and get some sunshine in here. It's going to be a gradual process, though, across the area. But once we do get some sunshine, 50 degrees, rain returns to the forecast tomorrow by mid-morning, so have the umbrella handy. And then temperatures go back into the 40s, unfortunately, for the weekend.
All right, Todd, thank you for joining us. We're back right here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America.
All your news throughout the day can be found on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com.
We'll see you tomorrow morning, and be careful of that fog.